The Nintendo Entertainment System is an 8-bit video game console made by Nintendo and released in the United States in 1985. While this may not be Nintendo's first home console, it is the console that increased their popularity tenfold and serves as the progenitor to other Nintendo consoles such as the Super Nintendo, GameCube, and all the way up to the Nintendo Switch. Today we'll be addressing a common problem among most NES systems, and that is the blinking light caused by the NES Chip inside the system. In short, the NES Chip was a way to stop bootleg games from being played on the system. It must connect with the chip inside the game cartridges, else the NES will continue to reset until it finds a connection. Unfortunately, I cannot show you this issue, but if you're watching this video, you've probably seen it for yourself. So now let's get inside the console and fix the problem. Alright everybody, here we are. We've got the screwdriver and the console. Now we can begin. First, we turn it over, and on the back we see we got 6 screws inside these holes. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to take them out, and then we'll be able to get inside. Alright everybody, we've made it into the inside of the console, and now we have a lot to unscrew. Right now we're going to be taking off the RF shield. This thing is actually not that important. The Nintendo only put this in here to comply with the FCC standards, so if you want to get rid of it, it's your choice. I'm not going to actually show me unscrewing it because that would be very boring, but I will show you the locations for which to unscrew the screws. So they're quite hidden on here. Well, some of them are. So there's one here, 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 and then back here, down there, and right there. And there's also one down there, but we'll get to that after we get the RF shield off. So let's get to it. Alright guys, now that we've got the RF shield off, we can get to the cartridge tray. This is where you put all of your games when you insert them inside the console. And so I've actually already gotten off the screws, but I put them back in there just so you can see where they all are. So there's one here, and there's 2 here in the front, and then there's 4 in the back. Now these 2, the ones under, like the ones furthest in the back, these 2 are longer than all of them. So just make sure you remember that when you're putting it back together. Make sure you have your container so you know where they are. And so now you can just get to unscrewing it, and then we can take it off. And now all you have to do, kind of got to finesse it, but you just pull it off. It's alright if it snaps. It's all good. And then there you go. Just place that off to the side, and now we're at the motherboard. This is the hardest part. Now let me first, before I go game to take a break, I'll show you this. This is what we call the 72-pin connector. This is what your cartridges are inserted into. This video is not going to cover this, but sometimes you may have a faulty 72-pin connector, and you'll need to buy like a special cleaning device to put it in there and clean the pins. Or you can buy a new 72-pin connector. They're not that much. So I'm gonna go game, and I'll be back in a few. Now we're getting to the motherboard, and where we can disable the NES chip. So first, I want to point out there are 2 cables here. You can see down there. I've already taken the liberty of disconnecting them from the motherboard, but just know that these are very, very difficult to They're very difficult to get back on once you pulled them off. So what I recommend doing is turning over the motherboard and just keep the RF shield on the bottom of the motherboard up like this so you can still see inside, but you don't have to take off the cables. So I'm going to take this off, and then we're going to close in on the motherboard so you know exactly what to do. This chip right here, let me put it into focus. This chip is diagonal. It's diagonal right from this. This is your 10 NES chip. It should say 1985, 1986, whatever year, doesn't matter. It'll say the year and Nintendo right after it. So, as you can see, it's quite a small chip. But what you're going to want to do to disable the chip is, let me get this. See, there's pins under the chip. So you just want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 from the left, that is the chip. The pin that you're going to disable from the chip. So what you want to do is just take maybe your screwdriver, any type of small metal object that's similar to a screwdriver, just break it off there. Now, before you do that, from my own personal experience, the first time I did this, I did it with a screwdriver, and when I took off the pin, part of it actually went into my eye. So I recommend that you wear eye protection while you're doing this, just to make sure nothing goes wrong. And then once you're done with that, you can just put the RF shield back on top of this, screw everything back together, and then you can get to testing it out.
Now that we've put the console back together, we can test everything out. But before we start, I'd just like to remind you not to screw the console too tight, because it can create problems when trying to insert games. Now we'll insert Metroid in the console and see if the light blinks or not. And as you can see, it doesn't blink, and plays the game right off the bat. If we turn on the system without the cartridge, there still won't be any blinking. So congratulations, you've solved the blinking light issue on your Nintendo Entertainment System. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.